Imagine trying to teach someone what blueberry tastes like without a blueberry. Or imagine trying to explain lactic acidity without having any reference. Or imagine trying to get 6 people to agree on what jasmine smells like, when everyone's idea of jasmine is slightly different. That's the challenge coffee professionals face every single day. Because flavour, the combination of taste and smell, isn't just personal. We need it to become repeatable, teachable, and measurable in this industry. And when someone says, oh, I'm getting blueberry, jasmine, dark chocolate, and a hint of almond, they're not just describing what they like. They are trying to communicate a shared experience. But how do you build that shared language, especially when everyone's sensory memories are different? That's where something like this becomes really interesting. This is Scentible, a sensory training system designed to help build flavour recognition. But rather than just talk about it, I actually want to test it. And the real question is, can something like this genuinely change the way you taste coffee? Let's find out. One of the hardest things about coffee tasting isn't drinking good coffee, because I think most of us can tell when a coffee is enjoyable. The difficult part is explaining why and what it is we're tasting, because I think we've all been there. You take a sip of coffee and someone sitting across the table says, I'm getting so many blueberry, orange blossom, and dark chocolate notes. And you're sitting there thinking, yep, tastes just like coffee to me. That's normal. Sensory skill isn't something that you're born with. It's trained and it comes from exposure and repetition. And most importantly, building a stronger memory of what flavors and aromas actually are. Because if you've never smelled real jasmine flower or tasted fresh blueberry with intention, or understand what Rioi Defect actually smells like, how are you supposed to confidently identify it in coffee? Your brain needs a reference, and that's exactly the problem sensory training is trying to solve. So before I explain everything about Scentible, I want to show you what this does, because I think this is where it becomes much more practical. In front of me, I have 2 cups of the same coffee. Only one is completely normal, and the other has had Scentible blueberry added to it. Now, obviously I'll taste blueberry because I know that it's in there, and that's actually the point. We're not trying to trick ourselves. We're trying to understand what happens when our brain has a stronger reference point to blueberry in coffee. So let's get tasting. Always start with the control coffee. What do I get? Some sweetness, some acidity, a little bit of a fruit character, but nothing specific jumps out at me immediately. Let's now try the second cup. Oh, see, this is where things get really interesting. The coffee hasn't changed. It's from the Mocha Master, so it's the same extraction, beans, everything. Suddenly though, that fruit character becomes easier to recognize. The sweetness also feels way more obvious, and even the acidity has a different vibe to it. I don't know how to explain it. And this is the part that I find fascinating. It's giving your brain a stronger reference point for blueberry in coffee. It's saying, this is what blueberry will appear like in coffee. Now look for where it fits into the experience of the whole cup across the palate. And that is essentially what sensory training is. This doesn't mean these kits replace real experience. They don't, and honestly, they shouldn't. If you've never eaten a blueberry flavor is only going to take you so far. You still need to eat the blueberry, smell the blueberry, pay attention to the sweetness, the acidity, the texture and aroma, because that's how your brain creates a complete sensory memory. The problem is though, most of us don't do that. We experience flavors passively. We eat something and think, I was hungry, that was nice, and then we move on. We don't stop to create a detailed sensory reference of the blueberry. And that's where intentional practice comes in. The purpose of the sensory kit isn't to replace the real world, it is to make us pay attention to it. It creates a controlled reference and a repeatable experience, so over time, it strengthens connections that already exist. So what exactly is Scentible? At its core, it's a sensory training system built around one simple idea. Flavour recognition is a skill, not a talent. In coffee, especially at the professional level, sensory evaluation isn't just about saying that this coffee tastes fruity. It's about being able to communicate what type of fruit is it? How intense is that experience? Is the acidity bright and clean, or is it sharp and unpleasant? Because coffee tasting really is about communication. A coffee roaster, barista, judge, or coffee buyer all need to be describing the same thing. And that's difficult when everyone's sensory memories are different. My memory of vanilla might not be exactly the same as yours. My idea of floral might not match someone else's, and my experience of white, milk, and dark chocolate could be completely different. And that's where calibration becomes important. You need a shared reference point because without one, well, we're all just using different languages to describe the same thing. Now, when it comes to sensory training, I think there's a mistake that a lot of people make. They treat this like it's a memory test. Almost like, can I smell this bottle and immediately guess the answer? But that's not really the goal. The goal isn't memorization. The goal is recognition. It's about building enough sensory experience that when you taste something in coffee, your brain has somewhere to connect it with. And this is where I think the way we use the kit matters more than the kit itself. If I was running a sensory workshop, or teaching a group of baristas, or even training my own palate at home, I wouldn't start by opening up every bottle and trying to memorize everything. I'd build it progressively. Step 1, start with the coffee before adding anything, before smelling anything. Just brew your coffee normally and then taste it. Write down what you notice: sweetness, acidity, bitterness, body, perhaps flavors that stand out. Maybe you get fruit, maybe you don't. And that's completely fine. The goal isn't to be right. The goal is to create a baseline, because later on, you can come back to that same coffee and see what changes. Step 2, explore the references. Now start smelling the aroma library itself. Not in the coffee, just the bottles. Take your time and compare them. Ask yourself, what do these remind me of? And this is where you start building your own sensory map, because your reference might not be exactly the same as mine. Maybe you smell vanilla and think ice cream, whereas someone else might think custard. Maybe one person smells floral and someone else thinks perfume. Neither person is necessarily wrong. Step 3, now bring the aroma and introduce it into the coffee. We repeat the same coffee brewing from earlier, but one cup stays untouched, that's your control, and a second cup gets the aroma added. Then we taste these side by side. But don't ask yourself, does this coffee now taste like blueberry? Ask, what's changed? Does the coffee feel sweeter on the tongue? Does the acidity feel brighter? And did a certain flavour over and above the blueberry become easier to recognise? Because comparison is where learning happens. Your brain is incredibly good at noticing differences, usually much more than identifying something in isolation. Alrighty, this is where I wanted to try something a little bit more challenging, a blind triangulation test. Because it is easy to say, yes, I can smell blueberry when I know blueberry is in the cup, right? But what happens when I don't know? So here I've prepared 3 cups. Now, 2 of these coffees, again, these are all just straight out of a batch brew Mocha Master. 2 of these cups are exactly the same, and one has had a random aroma added to it. I don't know which it is. I kind of took it from the back, sprayed it in, and now let's see if I can identify the different cup and maybe what it is too. Let's see. I'm just going to start tasting. Whoa, that's interesting. These 2 cups are similar, and this one's different, but this seems to be like the more generic cup. But these 2 smell the same. All right. This is much harder than I thought it was going to be. I feel like this one is the one that has the spray in it, and these 2 are similar. Now, how is this different? It's just got these two are like real sweet and acidity, really gentle up front, and that kind of carries through to the rest of like marshmallowy kind of body. It's sweet and confectionery-like, but soft sweetness that kind of just falls off. Whereas this, there is like some fruit to it. There was like a different aroma, a different crunch, like there's a peel on it or something like that even. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea of what it could be, but let's just check if it is the cup with the spray in it. It should be a blue bowl. It is. Whoa. I never knew, I always knew it wasn't that one, but I was stuck between these two until I started slurping it like that. But to guess what it actually is, that's going to be even harder, I reckon. Yeah, I feel like it's not citrus. Whatever it is, it's either a berry or it's floral. Breaking it down, what does it remind me of? It reminds me of a juice box, a popper, fruit juice in that sort of way. That's probably as close as I'm gonna have to get with it. Let's see what it is. That's so bizarre. Vegetal. So somehow the fruit juice reminded me of vegetal. What does it smell like just by itself? Yeah, it's kind of capsicum-y, kind of lemony, kind of in between there. Yeah, interesting. It's not like your typical like broccoli or it's kind of like sweet peas almost, but like with a little bit of a sweeter hint to it. Interesting. Now look, whether I got this right or wrong, the interesting part is what happened whilst tasting. I was paying attention differently to each cup, not just asking, do I like this? And that is really the foundation of this sensory development. You are inspecting it through your taste buds. Now, after spending time with this kit, the flavour aromas are interesting. They're fun, they're approachable, but honestly, they aren't actually my favourite part. The part where I think Scentible becomes much more valuable is this: the acids, the defects, and the modifiers. Because as coffee professionals, we don't only need to understand the positive flavors like the fruits and the chocolates, we need to understand problems and we need to recognize when something is wrong. A coffee might have a fermentation characteristic, or a processing issue, or a roasting defect, or a green coffee defect. And being able to identify those is arguably just as important as identifying blueberry or jasmine in brewed coffee. Because saying that this coffee tastes bad isn't useful. Being able to say that it has a phenolic character or a green vegetable note, which I couldn't do, well, that's where sensory training becomes genuinely practical and extremely valuable on the job. And one thing I noticed when comparing Scentible to other sensory kits is the overall approach feels much different. Traditional aroma kits like the Lenez du Café, they've been around for a long time and they do absolutely have value. They're great for building familiarity with classic coffee descriptors and aromas, things like chocolate, caramel, fruit, and floral aromas. But where I think Scentible separates itself is certainly in the wider scope, because coffee has become much more complex. We're not just describing whether something smells like fruit anymore. We're talking about processing methods, fermentation, acidity, defects, and those subtle differences that influence how we experience a cup of coffee. And I think that's where this system becomes much more valuable. It isn't just asking, can you guess the smell? It's asking, can you build a better understanding of why the coffee tastes the way it does? And you have all the tools to create and build on layer upon layer, multiple experiences that help you learn. Another thing I noticed is the aroma profiles themselves. With some sensory kits, the aromas can feel extremely obvious, almost like the concentrated version of the thing that they're representing. And whilst that can make them easier to identify, coffee generally doesn't work that way. You're rarely drinking a cup of coffee that tastes like someone poured blueberry syrup into your cup. The flavors are usually more subtle. They sit underneath the sweetness, the acidity, and the body, like impressions. A hint of citrus, a floral quality, or a chocolate-like mouthfeel. And I think the more subtle nature of the Scentible references actually works quite well for coffee. Now, getting the most out of a sensory kit like this really comes down to how you use it. First and foremost, the environment matters. Think avoiding strong smells like wearing perfume, food around, and cleaning products. Also, use neutral glass or ceramic vessels where possible. And most importantly, always have a control cup. Don't just add an aroma to one cup of coffee and smell it. You need to compare, because comparison is where the learning happens. Then you can ask yourself, what changed? What became more obvious? And what disappeared in the cup? The goal isn't to trick yourself into tasting something that wasn't there to begin with. The goal is to understand how your perception works and to look for those nuances. Now, when it comes to dosage, I think starting slightly stronger is helpful. The recommendation is generally around 3 sprays for beginners, 2 sprays for intermediate users, and eventually moving towards 1 spray as your sensitivity improves. Personally, I found 1 spray genuinely difficult, even after spending a lot of time tasting coffee. So I think 2 or 3 sprays is a good starting point, and then gradually reduce from there. Because eventually, you don't want the aroma to be obvious. You want your sensitivity to improve enough that those smaller amounts become recognizable, just like training any other skill. Now, another thing worth mentioning is the chemistry behind these references. These aren't just random smells. They're designed around the chemical equivalents associated with flavor and aroma compounds, which is crazy. And importantly, they're designed to be food grade, vegan, alcohol-free, and allergen-free, which makes sensory training way more accessible. You can explore the idea of hazelnut without introducing actual hazelnuts, or peanut without introducing peanut. And that matters in a professional environment where allergies are a serious consideration. So after spending time with the Scentible kit, where do I think it fits? Well, I think this is one of the most complete sensory training systems available. But I also think it needs to be understood correctly. This will not replace eating the fruit. It won't replace tasting new foods, and it certainly won't replace cupping coffee. And if someone buys this thinking, great, now I can instantly identify every tasting note in every coffee, that's not really how it works. Your palate still needs experience, you still need curiosity, and I recommend you still taste everything you can. Because the best sensory development happens in the real world. But what this does incredibly well is create a structure, and it gives you that reference library and helps you calibrate your senses and gives you a way to practice deliberately instead of just hoping that your palate improves over time. The biggest improvement here in tasting doesn't come from guessing more flavors, it comes from learning to perceive more in the cup. So if you've used Scentible, if you've used Scentible, or you've trained your palate in another way, I'd love to hear your experience. Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching to the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.